What's going on, guys? Welcome to In the Zone. I'm your host, Garrison Roy. Today, we're going to go into a little bit of a mental minute. But if you're new to this podcast, we have rants, we have full length interviews, we have deep dive educational episodes. So feel free to tune into those. But I'm going to go ahead and get right into this one. This one is on consistency, right? Obviously, we've heard about this time and time again through coaches, through motivational speakers, what have you, right? They're all trying to send the same message where consistency is going to help you go forth in anything in life, right? It's the difference maker between a good athlete and a great athlete, or just a good coach or average coach and a great coach, right? And really, whenever they say consistency, obviously it's something that you could do day in, day out, or maybe even multiple times throughout the week. But the biggest thing that I see when I hear the word consistency is also the word reliability, right? If you're consistent, like if you're coming out of the pin or you're coming out of, uh, you know, to pinch hit, we have to be reliable to be able to know that you are going to be able to come out and perform and do something on a consistent basis, right? And you've heard it before, the best ability is availability. So if we can rely on you to come out of the pen or come out of any situation, come out and go onto the field and be a great defensive player, whatever it might be, or, the players can always rely on you to always be there, to always talk them up, encourage them, maybe even tell them some things that they may not want to hear, but it's the truth, right? That's the sense of being reliable. But it also, through this consistency, it builds mental toughness, right? Having that resilience and discipline to do things day in and day out. That, I think, is where mental toughness is really formed, is if you can do something consistent, not just doing a hard thing every once in a while or doing a cold plunge like, once a month, right? If you did that every single day, that is developing mental toughness. And again, not saying that you have to do that, but it's just an example. And it also gives you a little bit more of stability in, knowing what maybe your role is, where if you're constantly fluxing in and out, or a guy who goes 4 for 4 and then 0 for 4, or walks the house, then strikes out the side, right? That's very fluctuating performance. But if you're consistent and you're sticking to certain things, you can actually build out a more stable, more predictable outcome. And again, there's a lot of stats nowadays with the big leagues where they have uh, predicted, WOBA, or predicted, particular stats based on if they have enough data before. And they make a lot of front office decisions based on that predictive data. So it's based off of what you've done over a long period of time or over a certain chunk of at bats or uh, innings, whatever it might be. So, that's something to also kind of consider too. Um, but also, this consistency, I think, while you're doing it day in and day out, it builds momentum for you to continue to add on, for you to continue to keep having that positive feedback loop, right? That's improving your confidence, that's improving your, just overall self-esteem, really. Because if you're going in, you're checking things off every single day and you're just knocking it out of the park all the time, literally and figuratively, right? Then that's going to build up a lot of confidence for you. And it will even cause you to maybe even add some more things, or to be able to develop that routine and be able to have that something consistent to rely on, whether that's you or even something that you have in your routine, such as a warm up or a meditation, or something that you have as an anchor that keeps you grounded in that consistency. It also helps you set a certain standard, right? So if you're going through the motions in practice, and I've talked about this before, and then everybody's like, okay, here we go. We're gonna throw, we're gonna hit some BP, and then we're gonna do this. Well, that's a load of bull, right? Like, you can't have that kind of standard. You got to set your standards a little bit higher than that and be like, hey, we're taking quality swings, or we're taking quality throws here, getting as much out of what we have the time and practice, or even practice on our own in any training that we're doing on our own, you have to set a specific standard for how you're going to do something and not just go through the motions, right? This also helps you become adaptable. When you're consistent and you are able to, do things day in, day out and have that set routine or whatever it might be for you that helps you become consistent, you also can be adaptable based on whatever the situation throws in front of you. You're able to go into, maybe a rainy game or a weird situation, bases loaded, you're thrown in with no outs, okay? Right? Like, you got to know how to adapt and still keep that high level of performance, keeping yourself in the zone, no matter what the circumstance, right? And of course, that's just going to lead to long-term success, long-term improvement. Even if you don't win every single time, because it's baseball, you're going to fail. It's still going to be building blocks to lead you up to where you want to be next. And it's just developing an overall growth mindset for you, I think. If you're consistent, you could be also consistently bad or consistently good. So that's also something you want to check on yourself. It's like, okay, hey, what's something that I'm consistent at doing? Is it for myself here, just calling myself out? I see myself checking my social media on a consistent basis, probably 3-4 times a day. Mostly because I want to see like how everything is growing or if there's any messages that people send me and whatnot. But that may not be the best thing to be consistent at, right? I might need to set aside maybe 1 or 2 times a day versus 10 or 12. So just an example there for that. But overall, this consistency is going to help you be a lot more resilient, a lot more, just willing to take on anything that comes your way. And I got one last clip to share with you guys before I let you go. I'm going to go ahead and put this right here. Shout out to Josh Gessner for sharing this one.
Consistency is even rarer than talent or enthusiasm. In my experience, consistency is the most valuable and least common trait of all. Doing something challenging and worthwhile at the same time every day or multiple times per week is incredibly rare. It's seen as the realm of professional athletes, top flight musicians, and Zen masters. And this is why consistency is the perfect competitive advantage opportunity. A higher number of your competitors will be talented or enthusiastic than consistent. This means that simply by not stopping, you will separate yourself from everyone else. Consistency is even rarer.
Well, there you have it. That's your cutting edge, guys. Consistency is, if there's any kind of magic bullet out there, it's that. Being able to go in, day out, being able to set yourself apart from the pack. Everyone else on the first day or the first weekend series or whatever, they're going to have their set routines. But what's everybody doing in the middle of the season? Or for pro guys, like in the dog days of summer and late August, right? What are you sticking to? Did you already kind of peel things off? And again, not saying you need to keep everything the same. Sometimes you need to change things up. But in order for you to be consistent throughout a long period of time, you have to stick to your basics. You have to find the anchor and you have to stay in the zone. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you guys want to go ahead and share this episode, please do. I don't run advertisements or anything like that for the show, so please share it. And thanks for listening, and stay in the zone.